Greetings everyone, SoloFadeDancer98 back at it again with another reaction to What If Goku Was an Elite Saiyan? Now this is going to kick off the start of Anime Fan Film Week. Last time it was Kamen Rider, this time we are on the anime films. Now I know it's not as popular as it is to everyone else, but this is important to me as I am a huge anime fan, especially with Akira Toriyama's passing. Now this is going to be the continuation of What If Goku Was an Elite Saiyan? Now, we're going to go on till probably the end of the Saiyan saga before we get ready to start heading off to Namek. So, going to be a fun time. We'll see how things measure out and see how things go for these guys as we keep on going through. So, let's head on in. They're about to start the fight against the Saiyans on Earth.
Bunch of Zenkais the warriors received, with the constant supply of sentient beings from Goku, who is able to speed up their healing and provide them with Zenkais much quicker and much faster. The two Saiyans, Nappa and Vegeta, arrive on Earth. Nappa destroys an entire city with the movement of his arm, and they eventually confront the Z Fighters. "Hello, Earthlings. Raditz, I thought you were dead," Vegeta blurts out in confusion. Bulma managed to recreate a Saiyan armor, so he has the armor he had before. "I'm here to finally defeat you, Vegeta," Raditz claims, making Vegeta burst out laughing. "Raditz, you're an elite, but I'm directly part of the strongest Saiyan bloodline. Have you gotten weaker?" Vegeta asks randomly, after seeing his power level only at 2000. He can remember it being around 10,000, and Nappa steps up proudly. "I can take him, sir." "Fine, let me see how much weaker he has become," Vegeta says, clearly confused and trying to gain info on the encounter.
Nappa and his pride, I tell you, he's a medium class Saiyan, but dang.
Nappa roars and releases his maximum power, reaching a power level of 4000. Raditz doesn't seem phased at all and simply
I thought he was closer to 6,000, but oh well.
closes his eyes, releasing the heavy suppressions on his body. He opens his eyes and his power level raises to 16,000, surprising Vegeta. Raditz is able to almost knock out Nappa with one punch to his stomach. Nappa flies off his feet and rolls across the ground, in shock from the pain. Raditz flies into the air and launches down his ki blast, almost killing Nappa in the process. Vegeta just looks at the injured Saiyan in disgust and raises a palm to kill him himself. Once he shoots the ki blast at Nappa, it's slapped away by none other than Goku at max power. 13,000, I know they're elites, but they shouldn't be rivals in power to the royal bloodline, Vegeta states, staring at both the fighters in confusion. Raditz powers up as much as he can and wraps the tail around his waist. Piccolo flies past the Saiyans and says, "You'll die by my hand," he shouts, aiming for Vegeta's head. He slips out of the way, then kicks Piccolo so hard in his stomach that he passes out. To finish off, he launches an energy wave right at him and kills him. "Piccolo!" Goku shouts from the sidelines. Raditz sees this and takes the chance to fly towards Vegeta, and they both clash. The ground below cracks under the pressure and Raditz is able to land a swinging kick. Once the fighters collide, they can be easily labelled as equals. They have different advantages in combat though. Vegeta is clearly fighting skill and talent, while Raditz has a lot of brute power and athleticism. He can punch harder, run faster, fly faster, etc. Vegeta punches Raditz in the stomach, but then he retaliates with a powerful kick. As he slides back, Raditz releases his powerful double Sunday attack. Vegeta blocks as the attack is too fast to evade or catch. He is left with moderate injuries and cracks in his armor, but nothing more than that. Vegeta is now disgracing himself for receiving injury from anyone of lower class than him. However, he feels much less bad since they are at the top of the Saiyan class hierarchy. "Fight away from here, it's not safe," Goku shouts while waving his hands. Raditz just nods and signals for Vegeta to follow him.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually a pretty good point that many people seem to forget in the debates about why Vegeta seems to hate Goku so much. It all started because Goku was able to hurt him so much, while he's royalty, and Goku's from the low class Saiyan. But now that they're elites in this story, in this version of it, makes much more sense that he'd take it with a, just slightly bittersweet, knowing that his elites had become so powerful, but they're so powerful that they can actually rival him. So it's much better in Vegeta's eyes, honestly, at this point. So much better, honestly, overall.
The remaining Z Fighters follow, mainly to watch really. Raditz stands on a rock pillar in Goku's position, and Vegeta stands on the same one as he did in the show too. "I'll finally kill you and take your rank as Prince, Vegeta," Raditz declares, making his unique stand. Vegeta just chuckles from above and flies down towards Raditz. He knees him in the face and slams him through an entire pillar. As Vegeta approaches, swinging in for another kick, Raditz is just about able to evade and strike back with a punch. Following that, their two punches hit each other and they are bang on equal. The fight continues and both seem to be doing just fine. Their hits are inflicting around the same amount of damage, but Raditz edges out on his opponent. They both have moderate to heavy injury and have been weakened from the combat. Raditz lands next to Goku and begins to reveal the info that he's gained. The fake moon will be useless if we are the same strength. I need to find a way to beat him alone, Raditz claims, staring down his enemy. Yes, I have an idea. Kakarot, be ready when I say, okay? Raditz asks, pointing to his brother. Goku nods and then he continues the fight with Vegeta. This time he lets him land several attacks that damage him, punches to the gut, kicks to the face, everything. This indefinite boost of Vegeta's ego really fuels him in the battle and gives him quite a maniacal smile. You really thought that you could surpass me, Raditz? You are foolish.
The maniacal smile, knowing Vegeta, would probably be more like, more like a sneer or something like that.
Shouts, landing punches that Raditz doesn't seem to be blocking in the slightest. Once this happens, Raditz flies away and back to Goku. A Senzu Beanie shouts, lifting his palm out. Goku throws one and he catches it. Sorry, Kakarot, Raditz says before diverting his path and making Vegeta slam into him. Goku actually gets quite hurt from this, but is able to kick Vegeta off and just about dodge a swing to his head. He then flies away as fast as he possibly can and Vegeta is able to catch up slowly. However, Raditz lands in front of him with even more power than before. 20,000? So that will conclude the first part of What If Goku Was an Elite Saiyan. Goku was an Elite Saiyan. Please like the video to help with the video's algorithm and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe when you want. There's nothing much else I want to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video. When it was finally highlighted to me in the comments, I shall change the overall framing to the early parts of this What If. Firstly, Goku doesn't hit his head and get hurt because he can't really, his power level is way too high. Goku still kills Grandpa Gohan as an Uzaru and is an unruly kid, causing a lot of damage, playing around, etc. Now Goku is far more keen to face Master Roshi since he is strong, however Goku is still far stronger than him, so it's just boring to say the least. Master Roshi and Kami though are the people that soften Goku and allow him to be more kind-hearted, still being cold in battle though. He is still much more like a Saiyan. He's not the same as his canon himself, but he's also far detached from the likes of an ordinary Saiyan. 20,000, Vegeta blurts out, confused on how his power rose. He also notices that his injuries have just vanished completely. I had a trick up my sleeve, Vegeta. Now to end this.
Zenkai boost.
To the maximum and cracks the rock under his feet. Powerfully, he leaps off it and punches Vegeta in the face, following up with a swivel kick to his chin, then a ki blast. Once it lands, Vegeta gets blasted off course and sent spinning into the air. As he spins into the air, Vegeta stops himself and gets kicked in the stomach almost immediately. This force slams Vegeta through a rock pile, then as he falls back, Raditz pulls back both arms and charges his signature technique. All hail Raditz, the new leader of our team, Raditz shouts, launching his double Sunday attack. All Vegeta has time for is a one-hand energy wave since he can't charge anything up, and the attack gets destroyed very quickly. As it comes racing down towards Vegeta, it slams into him and destroys all the rock around him too. A cluster of smoke and debris is released and Vegeta is clearly disorientated by the attack. However, Vegeta still has enough in him to fight back. Raditz flies forwards and both fighters clash once again, only this time Raditz is the clear superior fighter in terms of strength. Before I claimed he was already stronger, but now the gap is even wider. Raditz swings out, but Vegeta is able to swerve under that attack and throw two powerful punches to Raditz's chest. The attacks are speedy and accurate, but Raditz just pulls up with a knee to his chin. As his body is launched upwards, Raditz stuns him with a ki blast to the head, then a devastating blow to his sternum.
Dang, I tell you, those Zenkai boosts are quite the game changer, honestly, especially with these earlier fights. Sheesh.
The Saiyan Prince goes flying downwards, but manages to stop himself right ahead of some rocks. I'm the Prince of Saiyans, how dare you try and snatch my title like this, Vegeta shouts, powering up as much as he can. Rage fuels his every shout, but he is still weaker than the elite Raditz. He flies forward at full speed and aims right for his head. This telegraphed attack is easily evaded by Raditz and he lands a kick that sends him far into the air. The beating continues and Vegeta is literally beat to a pulp. His armor has completely gone off and he is left weak and bleeding pretty much everywhere. Left trembling and barely able to stand, Raditz just walks to him with practically unscathed armor. Vegeta trips over a rock as he continues to walk backwards, then he just throws his scouter directly at Raditz's eyes. The long-haired Saiyan kinda just dodges past this hit, but then gets hit by a barrage of full power ki blasts. Once this happens, Raditz isn't able to see what's going on and Vegeta is able to sprint to his pod and take off immediately. Raditz just stares the pod down as he leaves and is satisfied to have defeated Vegeta finally. Goku lands next to him and says, "You did it." As I should have. The prince stands no chance against our bloodline. We will reign supreme over any warrior that comes against us, even you, Frieza. Who's Frieza? You'll hear about him soon enough. Raditz is...
Right, because even though he has his memory still of their parents and the old Saiyan bloodline, he probably wouldn't have been old enough to understand who Frieza was and what it meant to work for him. So yeah, it checks out.
Old and everyone else is pretty much fine. All they need now are the Dragon Balls to save Piccolo. Raditz is quite reluctant, but he just tanks along anyway. It's not like he'll have anything to do on the planet. Once they start talking about getting the Dragon Balls, Raditz comes up with an idea. Vegeta will be there. He has always wanted to be immortal, and that's why he was so keen on coming to this helpless planet. The next stop for him will also be Namek, and us Saiyans get far stronger after heated fights like that. I recommend we enter that magic chamber once again before leaving to ensure that we are stronger than him. Raditz says, with crossed arms and in his Saiyan armor, there literally isn't much other things he can wear, so he just wears the armor constantly. The group agree, and during this time, Bulma and Mr. Popo are still able to find the Namekian ship. Now I heavily lowballed the last training regime because I was unclear on how strong Saiyans become of senzu beans. I mean, Goku alone went from 8,000 to 90,000 in 6 days just with gravity training.
True.
Since they have sparring partners now and a nice stash of senzu beans, they can grow exceptionally far too. Also, they're spending way longer inside of the hyperbolic time chamber, so the training is even more effective that way. During this time, Tien and Krillin also tag along. The humans know their place and know that they can't be spending all of their time trying to catch up to the Saiyans or just get as strong as possible. What they do instead is they train their techniques and refine them. Tien makes his Neo Tri-Beam early, and Krillin is able to use his Destructo Disc far easier. Tien has a power level of around 13,000 and Krillin has a power level of 12,000. They have spent a very long time training and have fought none other than opponents far above themselves.
Yeah, that's a pretty good use of the human adaptation.
However, the Zenkais do not apply to them at all, and they aren't even training for power that much, but are refining their techniques. We know that Tien's Neo Tri-Beam can take out people many times stronger than the user, so even if they are far weaker, at least we know Tien can keep up with his signature technique.
True.
After this, the group get the Namekian ship and head towards Namek. It takes the normal month as it does in canon, and they arrive on planet Namek. I will say that instead of the group being a day ahead of the canon, that Bulma and Mr. Popo find the ship faster because there aren't any injured fighters and they can get right on to getting the ship. During this trip, they train through the use of vision training and working out in general. This allows them to get a little stronger, and here are their listed power levels by the time they arrive. Krillin's has jumped up slightly to 14,000 and Tien's is now at 15,000. Gohan's is at an astronomical 190,000.
And technically at this point, wouldn't he be around 8 years old since he's been in the time chamber twice now? So, the power level makes sense.
Due to the hyperbolic time chamber, he has had a lot of time to train with strong warriors and has gained multiple Zenkais in the process.
Yeah.
Goku's power level camps out at around 270,000. He is still a good bit stronger than Gohan, mainly because of his age, and is able to frequently train with Raditz, who is stronger than him. Raditz, being the oldest and the most experienced fighter, has a very high power level of 300,000. The constant Zenkais of these elite Saiyans sets them apart from the rest and makes them truly formidable warriors. Once they land, a few soldiers step down next to the ship. Raditz immediately cowers in fear and hides away from the glass openings in the ship. Frieza's soldiers? Here? We're in a lot of trouble if he's on this planet, he replies, not willing to move away from the hidden area where he is crouched in. Frieza? Oh, that guy you were talking about. These soldiers don't even seem that powerful if you ask me, Goku says confidently, stepping towards the entrance. The doors slide open and Goku merely stands there in his orange gi. He has far suppressed his power level to around 50, but his tail gives away his identity right away. Instead of these soldiers being more cautious and wary of what's happening, they just mock him. Saying with a battle power of 50, no wonder Frieza took over you guys so quick. One mockingly remarks, stepping up to fight him. He runs forwards at far above superhuman speeds, but Goku just weaves past his punch as he lifts some of his suppression off. Now at around 20,000 for a power level, he blasts the man away with one arm. Boldly, he looks at the remaining soldier and doesn't have the bubbly cannon demeanor of Goku from the cannon. Here, from not hitting his head, he retains his mental strength and somewhat darkness. The last soldier cowers away and stumbles over his feet, but then looks more intently at his face. Raditz, how did you cut your hair? You're a Saiyan. Are you his brother? The soldier asks, seeing the clear resemblance. I'm not Raditz, Goku states before blasting the other soldier away too. Swiftly, he suppresses himself even more than the group start to exit the chamber one by one. Raditz has to keep himself hidden or else he'll easily just get caught out and destroyed by Frieza. He may have a larger ego from his high class status, but he isn't stupid. He knows that even if Saiyans could grow so strong so quickly, there had to be a reason to how he was able to control them with utmost ease. Once his power level fires up to this extent, Frieza, Zarbon and Dodoria all turn towards the massive 20,000 power level they have just detected. Zarbon and Dodoria aren't far above this, so it seems quite threatening to them that there is some unknown person in their lead. Be alert, once we see a power level anywhere remotely near to that power level we have just sensed again, eliminate them promptly. Frieza orders, continuing their somewhat successful quest for the Dragonball's father. Like in canon, Gohan and Krillin both head out to search for the Dragon Balls. The rest stay back next to the still intact ship and they see the soldiers mercilessly killing innocents. Gohan, who is probably one of the worst people to ever bring to somewhere like this, bubbles up with rage and then powers up wildly as the suppressions fade away. Even Krillin gets blasted away, then the Saiyan dives down towards Dodoria specifically. With one punch, he shatters Dodoria's skull and face, killing him. Landing next to Zarbon, he swiftly zooms forwards and throws a side kick, but Zarbon is able to block. Once Frieza sees a power level of 120,000, he is more than surprised. Even if Gohan is suppressed though, he is far above the likes of Zarbon and Dodoria. Zarbon feels the immense pain in his arms and is surprised by the power of the small kid. However, once he sees his tail, it makes him confused as to how he exists. Gohan then flies forwards and punches the man in his face, dipping down and kicking the large man in his chest with impressive force. This attack just kills Zarbon and then Gohan lands ahead of Frieza. Once he feels the power emitting from the Emperor, he feels significantly intimidated and just flies forwards to grab Dende and exits as fast as he possibly can. Krillin also tags along and the two manage to escape. With these two warriors defeated, Frieza calls none other than the Ginyu Force far earlier than the canon continuity. Because Dodoria is already dead, Vegeta doesn't hear of the Earthlings from him. Instead, he senses Gohan's power and is incredibly confused as to how his power is so high. It's actually so strong to him that he assumes that it's none other than the Tyrant Frieza. Next, just like in...
Well, honestly, that's pretty cool. So yeah, this looks interesting to stop, honestly. So yeah, we'll stop here for now. So yeah, Nappa wasn't a threat. Vegeta was defeated thanks to Raditz's smart thinking with a sense of being boost. And yeah, they're way stronger than canon. So yeah, so Zarbon and Dodoria don't stand much of a threat here. Even Krillin and Tien with their refined techniques would have been able to beat those two. But yeah, this is getting interesting. Seeing the power difference in their canon forms, especially with Raditz being a player here. I can dig it. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know I'm just mostly listening and just vibing and understanding the differences here. Like, the power levels definitely make sense since they're showing their huge growth here, and it's helping out with making the story interesting, because now the characters can actually have some steamrolled events and just focus on the main baddies instead of having to struggle and trying to get as many power boosts as they can within a small time frame. Which, honestly, refreshing. In the meantime, hopefully you guys are enjoying this. This is the first day of Anime Week. Look forward to more anime coming up as we keep on going through the anime fan films I found around YouTube. You guys take care. I'll see you around. Bye.